Here's a quick introduction to the Three Horizons framework by Bill Sharp. It's a tool for thinking about transformation and how to bring it about. It doesn't give you answers, but like the staves on which music is written, it allows you to have a far more nuanced conversation, bringing out new insights and allowing people to disagree for more interesting reasons. In the context of transformation, there are always at least three qualities of the future visible in the present, three horizons in play, offering insights into possible alternative futures. In this framework, the y-axis is what's dominant, what's prevalent, and the x-axis tracks time. The chart is not a prediction, it is in good part an aspiration for the change we want to see happen and believe is one of the possible futures that can be achieved. H1 is business as usual, the dominant way of doing things today. We believe that there is something about it that means it's not fit for the future, and it contains the seeds of its own demise. Hence, over time, we believe that it will decline. For this example, I'm going to call it the degenerative and divisive economy that is predominant today, and that's pushing humanity out of the donut. H3 is the future we want, and the seeds of that future are present and visible today. We want to see them grow until they become the predominant way of doing things, essentially replacing and improving upon the old H1. I'm going to call it the regenerative and distributive economy that can bring humanity into the donut. The most interesting horizon is H2, the arena of disruptive innovation. Disruptions can take many forms. A new technology like the smartphone, an election or vote like Brexit, an earthquake or flood like Hurricane Katrina, a new concept like the Anthropocene, or a social movement like Occupy. Disruptions are likely to throw up innovations, new ways of doing or being, as different actors step in and innovate in the dynamic space of change between H1 and H3. The key question is how disruptive innovations will affect the transformation from H1 to H3. Take, for example, the disruptive innovation of digital platform technologies, which, with a phone in nearly every pocket, allow new kinds of real-time markets to be built upon distributed digital networks. When such a disruptive technology is paired up with H1 finance and business models, you'll most likely get something like Uber, which has become infamous for its divisive use of outsourcing on exploitative contract terms. This is known as H2- innovation because it is innovation that has been captured by the old dominant structures in order to extend the life of the H1 economy. And since the innovation is captured here by H1, its energy is not being channeled into helping the new H3 economy to emerge, and so it doesn't. Now consider the very same digital platform technology, but this time paired up with a business model and finance to create an app that is owned by the taxi drivers themselves. This is what happened in Austin, Texas, and the app is Ride Austin. Same technology, but designed and financed to help bring through a new model of enterprise ownership that has far more distributive outcomes. This is known as H2+, disruptive innovation that's been harnessed to bring through the emerging future, and so it helps to hasten the decline of H1. So, pulling back, in any context of transformation, there are three overriding questions that can always be asked. What is being born, and how can we help it to arrive well? What is dying, and how can we help it to let go and leave well? And what is being disruptive, and how can it be harnessed, H2+, not captured, H2-? That's the framework in summary. I think it can also be used as a tool for a deeper dive in a group strategy workshop. Draw it up large scale on the wall, and invite participants to discuss in groups and then put post-it notes on the different spots in answer to questions such as these. A. What is business as usual? The key characteristics of the prevailing system. B. Look back. How did we get here? What values, cultures, laws, events led to this? C. Why do we believe it's not fit for purpose and is failing? Give examples. And how fast do we want to see it decline? Because collapse is rarely beneficial. D. Is there anything valuable about the old system that we would want to retain rather than lose, such as its infrastructure? E. What is the future we want to bring about? Its key characteristics. What would it look like and feel like to be there? F. What are seeds of that future visible in the present? Give specific examples. And looking back, G. Whose work are these present possibilities built upon? What history, values, and culture are embedded within them? H, how could they be scaled and spread? Give examples of actors who are already working on this. I, what are competing visions of the future that are being pursued by others? Could we collaborate with them because we share enough core elements? Or are theirs inherently competing visions? If so, how do we prevent their vision from derailing ours? J, what is being disruptive? Think of many different kinds of factors: technological, political, cultural, ecological, economic, social disruptions. What are the roots of those disruptions? And for each one identified, what would it look like for it to be captured, H2- or harnessed, H2+? What can be done strategically to ensure that it is harnessed? Give examples of disruptions that you believe have been captured and others that have been harnessed. In each case, why did it happen? What made that possible? And lastly, my favorite, L. If you are a disruptive actor, whether a social movement, a tech innovator, or a new form of finance, what kind of guidance can you set for yourself to help influence whether your disruption is captured to extend the life of H1 or harnessed to bring about H3? What allies will you seek? What action will you take? How will you assess potential offers for collaboration or finance? And how will you work with others to ensure that the H2 plus disruption scales and spreads? So there's an overview of the Three Horizons framework. Try it out and see what other questions it prompts for you. And if you want to read more about it, I really recommend Graham Lester's book, Transformative Innovation, which is based upon these ideas, and indeed the website created by Three Horizons itself.